It takes a lot of wise people to make peace, but it sometimes only takes one fool to start a war. Yuval Noah Harari, author of the book Sapiens, Yuval's writing has revolutionized the way that millions of people think about the human race in the past, today, and especially for the future, which is exactly why in this week's episode of MasterTalk, I'm so excited to feature Yuval so that you can learn from his incredible speaking style. Hi everyone, Brendan here from MasterTalk on your go-to channel to mastering your talk, and today we're talking about the great Yuval Noah Harari. So let's get into it. Number one, be a grandmaster at explaining the hardest ideas in the simplest of ways. We talk about this a lot on the channel, and Yuval, I find, does this at an incredible level. And the reason is because Sapiens and many of his other books like Homo Deus are really complicated. He goes into every little nuance around human beings, and his books are thick like this. But the challenge is that it's really hard to dissect and to retain all of that information, which is why you'll see him in keynotes and speeches simplifying his ideas in such a way that everyone who only has 15 minutes to listen can really understand the key points. One of the examples he gives in his keynotes is that human beings are storytelling machines, that we're able to envision a future that doesn't really exist yet. So that simple idea, he elaborates more in his books, but it's just enough for us to get the surface level idea. So when you think about your ideas, dive into the why. Why does this matter for my audience? And then I want you to pick out the 2 to 3 main key messages that you feel need to be said. In the same way, I could spend 50 minutes talking about Yuval's speaking style, but what I do before I record a video is I say, what are the 3 main insights that I feel pretty much summarizes his entire speaking style so you don't have to spend an hour listening to him. Number 2, surprise your audience by doing the unexpected. When you think of Yuval Noah Harari, you think academia, professor. So you envision someone who's shy, introverted, and doesn't really want to be on a stage. Yet, Yuval makes so many jokes and has such a great personality when he shares his ideas on a stage that it becomes memorable. One of the quotes that he shares in his TED Talk is, you can't really convince a monkey to not eat a banana today by promising that monkey limitless bananas in monkey heaven. And that's a literal quote that he uses in his keynotes. And the reason he uses that is to elaborate on the idea that human beings can imagine a future that doesn't exist yet. Like the concept of heaven or hell doesn't really make sense for most animals in the world. And he uses such a funny quote to demonstrate that idea. So just because you're an academic professor at really anything means that when we do the unexpected, it gets people's attention. Kind of like when I make corny jokes with a professional suit on. It's unexpected. You don't really line up professional suit with this kid's a little bit weird. So when you add a combination of the unexpected, that's what often gets retained. So what is that tool for you? Is it humor? Is it sarcasm? Is it the ability to tell a joke that kind of is funny but isn't really? When you play on the unexpected, you also get unexpected results. And finally, my favorite, number 3, anyone, literally anyone, can be great at communication and public speaking, regardless of who they are. What I love the most about Yuval is that his first language is Hebrew. He has a PhD in history from Oxford. He's literally the opposite of what you would expect an exceptional communicator to look like. Yet, his vocal tones are amazing. His projection is excellent. His ability to use pauses and funny stories is great, unlike most academic professors. Why is that? Because Yuval understands at a deeper level that, wait a second, there's a lot of people in the world who won't want to read my 700-800 page books. So I owe it to society to figure out a way to simplify my ideas so that the single mother who has 7 children who doesn't want to make time for my book will at least listen to my 15-minute TED Talk and get the gist of what I'm trying to say. And I have so much respect and empathy for people like Yuval because they go the extra mile. They go back to themselves and say, you know what? I really want to impact millions of lives. So I owe it to myself to not just simplify those ideas because my audience just won't have time to listen to everything because our attention spans are this long, like they're really short. But I also need to have the effort, the persistence, the tenacity to go, you know what? I might be some introverted, shy professor, but I'm going to make the effort to figure out exactly how to communicate my ideas in a way that gets people excited to hear my message. So use Yuval as a placeholder, as an example for all of us to say, wait a second, if this guy spent most of his life being an academic and he could present like that on a stage, what's my excuse? This is the best reason to learn history, not to predict the future, but rather free ourselves of the past and imagine alternate destinies. Yuval. I'm sure you're just as much of a fan of Yuval's work as I am. The way that he thinks about the human race and the level of detail that not only goes into his research, but his incredible books has truly shaped this generation and many generations to come. So think about your work in the same way. How can I create an impact? An amazing message that people will also remember for generations to come. As always, if you enjoyed this week's episode of MasterTalk, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well to see more videos like this. And if you're interested in hearing more from a new speaker that I haven't yet featured on the channel, be sure to let me know in the comments section below who you would like me to feature next. And if you know one person that's a big fan of Yuval's work, be sure to send them this video so that they'll be one step closer to mastering their talk. See you next time, everyone.